All right, let's just dive right in. Have you ever stopped to think about water? Not just as, a substance, but as a storyteller? That's what we're digging into today. This idea that water, in all its forms, might actually be holding on to some pretty profound truths about us if we just quiet down and learn how to listen. And the person guiding us on this little journey, a philosopher who goes by the name Zoran the Dragon. And he kicks things off with this line. It's powerful, kind of mysterious, right? Water remembers what fire forgets. This one thought it totally sets the tone. It's about to make us think differently about everything: power, memory, and even change itself. So, what does he mean by that? Well, this right here breaks it down perfectly. Think about it. We usually see power as fire, don't we? It's quick, it's loud, it destroys everything in its path. But Zoran's point is that that kind of power, it just doesn't last. It's fleeting. Water, though, totally different story. It's patient. Its real strength is in being quiet and just relentlessly persistent. It doesn't just wipe things out. It carves, it shapes, and it feels like it holds a memory of every single thing it's ever touched. And so, getting into the spirit of our guide, Zoran, he welcomes us with this simple phrase: welcome, little fish. I love that. He's framing water as this ultimate teacher, the final element that shows us what it means to feel, to be resilient, and to understand those deep currents that are always shaping our lives. Okay, so lesson number one, we're starting with the river. And we're about to see how its movement, which, let's be honest, can look pretty random, is actually a masterclass in smart, adaptive power. And this really gets you thinking. We all know the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So if a river's whole goal is to get to the sea, why doesn't it just go straight? Why does it almost always speak in these winding curves? Well, the answer has a name: meanders. And this concept, I think, is at the absolute heart of this whole idea. A meander isn't the river getting lost or being weak. Zoran sees it as the river having this ongoing, intelligent conversation with the land around it. It's finding the smartest path, not just the shortest one. And that conversation has two parts. You can see it right here. On the outside of the curve, the water's moving fast, so it's pushing, wearing away the bank. That's erosion. But then, on the inside of the curve, it slows way down. And there, it deposits all that stuff it was carrying, literally building new land. It's this beautiful dance of taking away and giving back, a perfect balance of force and gentleness. So what's the big takeaway from the river? It's this: true power isn't about being a straight, unbending line. Real strength, real resilience, it comes from being able to adapt. It's about knowing when to yield and how to flow around the things in your way without ever, ever losing sight of where you're ultimately going. All right, let's move on from the river to our next teacher. We're going from that active, flowing energy to something deeper, that rhythmic pulse of the ocean. And according to Zoran, the ocean teaches us something totally different. It teaches us about longing. You know, the way the tides come in and go out, day after day, it's not random at all. It's the ocean responding to this huge, invisible pull from the moon, hundreds of thousands of miles away. It's an incredible, real-world metaphor for how we, too, are moved by forces we can't always see or even touch. So how does it actually work? Well, it's pretty wild. The moon's gravity is constantly tugging on our oceans, creating these massive bulges of water on opposite sides of the planet. And as the Earth spins, we basically just rotate through those bulges. That's what gives us high and low tides. I love how Zoran puts it. He calls it the Earth's deep, slow breath. This rhythm that's completely controlled by something so far away. And what's really cool is when other things line up, like the sun. When the sun, earth, and moon all get in a row, their gravity combines, and that pull gets way stronger. That's when we get the highest and lowest tides. And isn't that just a perfect metaphor? When our own internal desires align with forces out in the world, the effect is so much more powerful. It's something you just can't ignore. Okay, so we've had the river teach us about flow, the ocean teach us about longing, and now for our third and final teacher, the rain. The lesson from the sky is all about renewal. It's about how change is the only thing that's truly constant. Yeah, we all remember learning the water cycle in science class, right? Evaporation, condensation, precipitation. But Zoran asks us to see it as something way more profound. He calls it the universe's steady heartbeat. It's not just a mechanical process, it's a promise. You have the exhale as water goes up, the gathering as it forms clouds, and the return when it comes back down. It's this perfect loop that shows us that nothing is ever really gone. It just changes form before it comes back. And that's really the core lesson of the rain. Think about it. Water is the only thing on Earth that naturally exists in all three states: liquid, solid, and gas. Its whole existence is a demonstration that change is constant. And if we can learn to accept that, to lean into it, that's how we allow for renewal, for ourselves, and for everything around us. So, we've learned from the river, the ocean, and the rain. We've got the theory, but now Zoran gives us a challenge, a way to actually put this all into practice. He calls it the Dragon's Trial. And the trial itself is actually really simple, but it's deep. Your task is to become a water listener. It's not about just looking at water anymore, but trying to listen to what it's saying. So first, you find some water. It could be a river, a puddle, even an ice cube melting in a glass. Second, you just observe its rhythm. Is it calm? Is it turbulent? Is it a steady drip or a sudden rush? And finally, the most important part, you ask yourself, what is this water telling me right now? What's the message in its movement? And that brings us right here to the final question, the real point of this whole thing. After you've watched the river flow, felt the ocean's longing, and understood the rain's promise of renewal, Zoran leaves us with this. And you realize pretty quickly, it's not really about the water, is it? It's about you. What's that quiet, patient truth that's been carving its way through your own life, just waiting for you to pay attention? What does the water remember that you have forgotten?